And we're back again for what was the DGC podcast, but we've slightly changed it up, mate. We're calling it Hobby Styles, which is a nice little tribute to Mr. Nobby Styles, who was a fantastic servant for the England football team and probably the forgotten man for the 1966 World Cup squad. He played every single game during that 1966 run and probably, your Jeff Hirsch, your Bobby Moores, they all sort of get the accolades and get the attention, but Nobby Styles deserves a little nod. So as that sort of is a little play on words, mate, that's what we're going to run with from now on.
Happy days. Little nod to Harry Styles himself as well there.
Harry Styles. That's what people are probably sitting there thinking. I'm a little fanboy or something.
A few of the younger generation coming through in the hobby, they will have no idea of Nobby. So
exactly right, mate. You're spot on
there. Soon to be a household name, old Hobby Styles, I'm sure, as well, to join the gang.
Let's hope so, mate. We've had some great feedback from the first one, which is why we've wanted to jump on quite quickly and get another one recorded so we can give people a few more updates and give our opinions on a few things. So we're going to sort of run through this evening. Immaculate is just around the corner now. Probably the flagship Premier League product of the year, seems to be the one that everybody sort of gravitates towards, probably even a little bit more than Immaculate, I would say. I think people seem to think Immaculate is the main one. So really interesting to sort of run through that checklist and have a little run through and see if there's any opportunities, if there's any teams that seem to be just could be a dark horse, and if there's any teams that maybe might be a bit cheaper from the beginning in breaks and so on, then you might be able to jump in and get them a little bit cheaply. Or if we're going to see what we normally tend to see with Premier League products, and that's the big boys have all of the big hits and everybody else is neglected a little bit. So going to be interesting to run through that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about Sapphire, just really quick touch upon that, because I think the ship has sailed a little bit on Sapphire, but I just wanted to sort of get a quick opinion on that product because it made such waves within the hobby over that sort of when the first boxes started to get opened. So we'll have a little touch point on that. And then we've also got some questions from the Discord. So anyone who's not in the Discord, you will be able to find links to that on our social media. It's currently pinned in our profile on Instagram, and you can normally find it in our Twitter bio and stuff like that as well. So jump over in Discord because great community, and we'd like to sort of answer any sort of questions over there as well. So let's touch upon Sapphire just as the first point so we can get that done, get it out of the way, and then move on to Immaculate. So obviously Sapphire, on the box, it says, and this is the wording, it says 2 parallels inside. The point is, nowhere does it say 2 numbered parallels. So everybody took it for granted that 2 parallels meant 2 numbered cards were inside the box. And then we start to get the first few open up. And sometimes there were the legend parallel, which was regarded as a parallel hit in the box. And that really started to cause some issues, and people were not very happy at all. Saw a lot of the first boxes coming out with 1 numbered card, 1 legend parallel, and that was your lot. We even saw some boxes that didn't have a single numbered card in there. So you're paying £250 for a box. Yes, it's a real premium-ish product. It's mid-range in theory, but it's premium in that the quality of Sapphire is superb usually, and normally really, really solid. Absolutely love Sapphire cards and have done for many years now. And yeah, it just really wound people up that at £250 for a hobby box, they really felt like 2 numbered cards was the minimum expectation. So yeah, we had a bit of a problem there. I opened mine. I had 2 numbered in both. So I had 2 boxes, had 2 numbered in both, so lucky, and also the legend variation in there as well. But I was actually sent out as the second batch. So the first batch went out to everybody, and the people who grabbed the product really quick. And then the second lot that was shipped a couple of days later all seemed to have 2 numbered cards in it. So I don't think we still got to the bottom of whether or not they're supposed to be 2 numbered or whether the legend does qualify as a parallel at this stage. But I feel like because of the wording on the box, Topps definitely have a way out to not basically provide anybody who didn't hit 2 numbered cards with any sort of compensation or, anything in return. So did you see any of that, and what's your feelings?
When do you not see controversy in the hobby these days? As someone who's pretty active on Instagram, and obviously Facebook and Discord, even through not touching the product because I don't touch tops as a rule. I saw videos, saw podcasts, saw a lot about it, and a lot of kind of disappointed people. And I don't think people are very consoled by a technicality or a wording when you drop in that amount of money on what is probably a mid-tier product. So as a man of the people and someone who generally is pretty much team Panini, I can see where the frustrations have come from. It creates even more of a gap between retail price and resale value, just because people, rightly so and naturally so, see a lot more value in numbered cards. So if you've just spent 250 quid, which is a big wad of cash on a bunch of base or inserts, you're thinking, right, I've just spent this on essentially just base, and we all know what base is going for in the current market. So I would probably cry myself.
This is a real big question, though.
Yeah.
Is Sapphire base? Because if you look at Haaland's from the previous year, base, as we call it, it's not really priced as base. A Sapphire Haaland or a Sapphire rookie of anybody definitely carries more value than, a Chrome base card. Sapphire is still Sapphire. So, for example, Gavi at the moment, a base Gavi or a Sapphire Gavi is selling for between $60 and $100. Now, if that's a PSA 10, that's probably $200 to $300. Maybe a little bit more because there's not many of them around at the moment. So all of a sudden, you only needed one Gavi base to sort of potentially, if it grades well, get your money back on the product, and then the rest is freebies. So I think maybe there was a little bit of a naivety out there and a little bit of maybe an impulsive reaction that, it isn't just chuck away base. Sapphire is still Sapphire, and a Sapphire rookie it still carries a little bit of weight.
Yeah, it's one of them. And I think if price is based on design, the cracked dice design and the actual look of the cards as a base card, it is one of the nicest products out there. And, as you say, when you actually take a step back, read the box and look at the market as a whole, you can make justifications there. But people love an issue, especially if you feel like you have been hard done by, and we've all been hard done by some retail product that we've opened and you've just got rubbish. It just so happens that the way Tops have sold it in the way that the box has been worded, it's kind of added maybe a little bit of fuel to the fire where expectations have not met reality, and that's when there's tends to be a bit of friction. I can't say too much though, as I didn't purchase the product or I haven't touched it in any way, so I don't want to. My
initial reaction a little bit, and I have to be honest because I've kind of been here, seen it, and done it. I paid for some Mosaic personals on Soccer Breakers FC the other evening, and I had a Mosaic box that didn't have an auto in it. It happens where you have a bad box, and on the side of the box it says on average 1 per box, and that on average gets around the fact that if an auto is missing, there's not really a lot you can do about it. So, it's frustrating when it happens, but it does happen. And my sort of initial mindset went to these people who received 1 numbered parallel. What's another numbered to 99 Benzema going to really change to the value of what you've packed within the box. And from my pools, I had a 99 Benzema and a 99 Rashford. It hasn't changed my that extra numbered card that I hit hasn't changed my return of the value of what I hit in my box. I've seen 90 numbered to 99 Sapphires going on eBay for 99p. Cannot believe that cards of that quality, numbered cards of that product, are selling for 99p on eBay. I think it's absolutely crazy. But, it didn't really change much. So I did sit there and think a little bit like, okay, you only got one, but if you had another one of a non-rookie, which it's likely it might have been, then it's not really going to change much. And it was proven in my product that it didn't. Luckily enough, in my second box, I had 2 to 75. It's weird that they seem to be, I had 2 to 99, then I had 2 to 75, which was quite strange why they was matching, numbered out of for the two parallels that I hit. But one of mine was Sydney Rayberger. So probably the worst of the rookies with the controversy that's going on. But I'm happy with that because long term, I still think he may turn out and do something. We talked about him last week.
Yeah.
Who knows? He'll be buried into the depths of my collection and my storage. And then who knows, in 10 years, I might pull it out and think, oh, that's a nice one there. And he might have amounted to something. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it was a tough old product. It's always a tough product. But you do only need one of the top rookies of that year in the base to get quite a considerable amount of your money back. And especially if you get it graded and it grades well, then you are going to pretty much cover the cost of your box. So I do think there may have been a slight, maybe overreaction to the initial situation. And if they looked and sat down and went through that base and, did pull out stuff, because normally I know the centering can be a little bit off, but Sapphire is normally pretty solid in terms of the surface, in terms of the corners. It's normally quite looked after, so it does normally grade fairly well. So I'm going to be grading up some of mine. I'll share with everybody in the Discord the sort of grades that they get, which would be interesting for people to see. And maybe it will help some people try and recover some of the sort of value of the box that they may feel like they've lost out on at the moment. So anyway, mate, that's enough for Sapphire at this stage. We shall move on, and we are going to run through Impeccable and run through the checklist. Is it something that you've been involved in previous years? You're an Impeccable man? You a fan, or?
I am, yeah. No, it is what I would consider a premium product. And I think they release it at the right time. It's pre-season. People are sort of looking at teams, how they're operating pre-season, who's playing well, the rookies to look out for, and the season's right around the corner. So, gives a bit of hobby buzz towards the Premier League before it kicks off. So it's usually pretty quality. My chase last year was Wayne Rooney autographs, and anyone who tells you in the Wayne Rooney gang quality was not up to scratch. there was a one of one of the horizontal card floating about, and I think it went just over $1,000 because from the eBay pictures it looked like a dog had been at it or something like that. But I own Impeccable cards. I own Impeccable autos. Generally pretty good. Centering was off on most of them last year, so hopefully that's fixed. But from what I've seen of this year's product, the designs look really nice. There's a lot of popping colours. They're not all framed, so centering might be less of a obvious issue for people who want to bring them into the PC. And yeah, generally they get it right. So I haven't looked at the checklist before getting into this, so we can get real live lifetime reactions to the checklist. Nice. So will be good.
No, that'll be good. I mean, one of the things that I really like that tends to be a little bit overlooked, to be perfectly honest, and I'm actually after a Jared Bowen metal card, but I do love the metal rookies. I think they are very nice, the metal cards in general, but especially metal rookies. I'm not talking about that from an investment perspective or from a value perspective, but I just really like them. They're normally pretty low numbered. I think when you hold a metal card, it feels so premium. I think it has a really nice feel to it. That extra weight, I think, is really nice. Don't know, just something about metal cards for me that I personally really like myself. So I know they're not to everybody's taste, but I really like them.
Yeah, just before we move on, I'd say I'm probably in the other camp on that one. The silver bars and the metal cards, they just don't do it for me, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean,
I
that's where I fall
can't put
down.
my
The
finger
silver
on it.
bars and gold bars, I'm like a big no-no.
Yeah,
That's too much for me. I don't understand it. If I'm honest, I don't get it. That they really don't appeal to me at all. But the
I
metal
saw a big
cards,
discussion last year where people were talking about removing the silver bars and the gold bars from lesser known players and selling them as commodities. I was like,
yeah,
why is this even got room in the hobby? Like, just yeah, there's a number of reasons why as well. I think, like box weighing and things like that comes into it. It just makes it very easy for dodgy people to pick and choose boxes and things like that as well. So if people are worried about that, then I'd say that's a risk element of Impeccable as well sometimes.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be that excited if one was in there or not. But I guess they do have value. You'd rather hit one than not hit one. I guess if you break a box. But like you just said there, it's really interesting. If you're buying it personally and you're buying a single box, I think that's always a dangerous game to play. I think if you're buying a single box of any product, if somebody had the case sitting there, they may open boxes until they get the case hit, and then they may sell off the rest of the case.
Yeah.
So actually, you could be buying single boxes with actually no chance of hitting the big hit. So I think there's always a little bit of a worry there for me, which is why I tend to only buy into full case breaks and stuff like that, because I just feel like you're guaranteed that there's no tampering that's going to go on there, and that you've always got that run at that big hit, you like it if you like, from the product, as opposed to if you're buying singles. So anyway, we digress. We move on to the base set checklist, and having a look, I think we've got the obvious ones in there. Lokonga for Arsenal is one that was in. What was that in? That was in one of the other Premier League products, Revolution, this year.
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli's in there as well, which is the one that you sort of always see at the moment. Brentford, a few different names in there that I haven't seen previously, so interesting there. Then
Not seen too many Roslav.
no,
Got Carney Chukwuemeka there. I think he'll still do well.
yeah,
Pretty much this entire season. There's a lot of love for him at Villa.
yeah, absolutely. There certainly is. Burnley, you got your same old people that you expect. Dwight McNeil seems to be quite interesting in Obsidian at the moment. That was probably the fastest request that I've ever had from a hit in a break. I hit a Dwight McNeil, and within seconds, I had someone messaging me wanting to buy it. I didn't have that from a Ronaldo. I didn't have it from when I've hit R9. I didn't have it from any of that. But I hit a Dwight McNeil, and someone's on my case about buying it. It was very surreal.
I had a very similar experience.
Did you really?
Last week, I listed a Obsidian Dwight McNeil and an Obsidian Maxwell Cornet, and they were gone within the day. So
it's mad.
There's Burnley fans out there that are just hoovering people up for their PC, and I'm all there for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Elise through Crystal Palace, interesting one. Potential.
Underrated baller.
Underrated, Crystal Palace there. You still got Conor Gallagher in there. It's not going to be his rookie year, but he's in there. That's an interesting one. That little Elise chase. I mean, that's probably quite similar to the Eze chase that went on, and obviously Eze's not amounted to anything.
Eze was unlucky, I think, with his injury.
Yeah, he was, but that's football, isn't it? That can happen.
Yeah.
So. It's a tough one. Leeds United are in there as well. Rafina, obviously, he's moved on, so don't know what that will do for his sort of value in the product. Any other big ones in here? What we got? Harvey Elliott's in there, which we expected to see. Man City, none of my Liam Delap, unfortunately, but Cole Palmer is in there. So we've got the Palmer, but no Delap. So
the boy Phil, of course.
Yeah, Phil Foden, your man, is in there, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo's in there, which we would totally expect. Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo, Sancho, Rashford. Rashford's always in and around there. I feel like they could have been a bit more creative maybe with that this year, with Rashford and his limited sort of run in the Man United team last year. So, but, he's still in there as usual. And then we go over to Norwich. We've got your Billy Gilmores and so on.
Norwich is just one of those that it's just a bit frustrating that they're even in there. But such is life. Unfortunately, product needs to catch up. So
yeah, it does, mate. It does. And we're going to go on to that because we're going to move on from the base. Base,
yeah,
nothing too exciting. Elise for me, maybe a nice little cheap chase for somebody who may not be able to afford some of the big ones. So definitely keep your eye out for that. But we move on to the all-time legends. And we have Nicky Butt for Manchester United, Gilberto Silva for Arsenal, Clint Dempsey for Tottenham. Interesting one for Tottenham. Thierry Henry, you expect that. Landon Donovan for Everton, John Terry for Chelsea, David Beckham for Manchester United. However, there are only 3 of those cards within that all-time legends. David Beckham's within the product, so chances of hitting that very, very slim. Michael Owen for Newcastle, quite a nice little chase, that one. Juan Pablo Angel for Aston Villa, and then Wayne Rooney for Manchester United. So I guess the main take from that is the fact that there are only 3 David Beckhams on the all-time legends checklist. So
yeah, I haven't seen too much John Terry before, which is probably a fantastic one for Chelsea fans. Me, not as a Chelsea fan, saying that.
Yeah.
I think Owen for Newcastle, just stick him in the Liverpool kit. Like, I know that there's not a massive amount of love for him, but
no, but what I'm going to say on that is that's how I would love to see these companies get clever, because Liverpool are going to have big hits.
yeah,
Newcastle isn't. So by putting putting Michael Owen in there, it does add to that team in the product. I would love to see more of that. I'd love to see more thought about. They did it a little bit with Ian Wright, putting Ian Wright in Crystal Palace and not just Arsenal. So, but I would like to see a little bit more thought of, let's not always put every player into the big teams. If they have played for a lesser team, if it helps their checklist and it helps their weight within the product, let's see a little bit more of that.
Yeah. I'm
not totally agreed on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people would care more if they are genuinely a legend of their club. And being that the way the hobby is, and people are usually PCing their own team and stuff like that, will people look at a Michael Owen in a Newcastle United top and think, oh, he wasn't here for long, like it's not really a chase? They'd probably just rather see a sticker of a Alan Shearer in there, and then I don't know, find someone else. But
of course,
remains to be seen.
For me, it's like, so West Ham in previous Prism product had Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Then I saw him move over to Crystal Palace. They kind of used Ian Wright a little bit like that. They moved him around different teams. But believe me, with what they've had in terms of West Ham autos in previous years, like Ravzan Rat and players like that, and Ian Wright was just an unbelievable hit for us as West Ham fans, because we don't have much. So because of that, it does make you feel a little bit better when you buy your team and there isn't much to hit. But then all of a sudden you hit a nice Ian Wright. Okay, was he a West Ham legend? No. But, we still enjoyed having him at our club. And it was, it was still a nice card to hit for me. So, I think it really does depend. I think, if you are one of those lesser teams where you really don't have much in a checklist, I think you're grateful for anything sometimes, mate, to be perfectly honest.
As a West Ham fan, then, let's say that card comes out, do you keep it and put it in the PC, or
absolutely.
do you cash in on it?
Put it away. Just keep it. It's nice to keep. You're not going to get a lot for it. So funny enough, I actually purchased one off somebody yesterday, Ian Wright, on a Prism Auto. It was 15 quid. Now, for me, that's a nice thing to own for 15 quid. I'm happy with that. Like that's a nice thing for me. He isn't a West Ham legend. He's not even close to being a West Ham legend. He's obviously an Arsenal legend. But for 15 quid in a West Ham kit, it's still a nice thing for me to display in amongst all my other West Ham slabs. So, I'm happy to own stuff like that. So, I guess, when you come from somebody like myself in a set, and we're going to get on to some of the other West Ham autographs in a minute, and you'll understand even more so why we take what we can get, because generally our checklists are not very exciting. So we move on. We look at Canvas Creations in there. I'm not going to go through every single player because we'll be here all day. But if we just take the big boys from there, Cristiano Ronaldo's in there. There's a Robin van Persie. We also have a Thierry Henry again. So Manchester United and Arsenal, very heavy in terms of their weight. There's an Eden Hazard for Chelsea. Interesting one. Then we have Rafinha for Leeds again. There's a
Modric. Fabregas is
Modric,
pretty nice for
which
Arsenal
is a
again.
really interesting one. Fabregas, nice one. He's been a redemption in previous products at the moment. So he was a redemption in Chronicles. I've actually got a redemption of his from Chronicles. But look, see, Luka Modric is a nice one for Tottenham. Tottenham don't really need extra players in there because they've got a good enough squad as it is. But, having Luka Modric in there, I don't think as a Tottenham fan, you'd be disappointed to pull a Luka Modric Tottenham card, to be perfectly honest.
No, I'd definitely agree with that. He was a baller for him. So
yeah, and has gone on to be a Ballon d'Or winner. So
absolutely.
it's massive. So Elegance jersey autographs is up next, and this is where it gets a little bit shady. There is a Cristiano Ronaldo in there, and there's 41 of those, which is really nice. But Kevin De Bruyne only 6. Robin van Persie for Arsenal, but only 1. So, the chance of hitting that definitely doesn't add to the Arsenal checklist. Billy Gilmore for Norwich, there's only 1. So if you're buying into Norwich on breaks or expecting to hit a Billy Gilmore somewhere along the line, your chances of hitting an Elegance jersey autograph is few and far between. So that's not likely to be something that you're going to hit.
Stick the Euro Millions lottery on.
You are probably better off, Mum. That is probably where your money is better spent. And there's a Cavani in there for Man United, 11 of those. So, from that one, the jersey autograph's not particularly exciting. I'd like to think that the reason why there's such a mix of how many there are in the product and why there's so few on some of them is because they are genuine match-worn jersey patches in there. and this again, we've all been knocking it. We've all been moaning. They're not, the match worn is not out there anymore. Where's all the match worn stuff gone? Well, at the end of the day, if it means that you're only going to get a few in the checklist, then it's going to be a bit bitty, and some of the players you're only going to have one jersey auto in the product. Is that good for the product? I don't know. So you have to be careful what you wish for sometimes. Obviously, we'd all rather match-worn stuff, but if it ain't out there, then, it can affect the checklist a little bit. So,
yeah, no, agreed. I think in general, what this area of the checklist says is, if you're entering breaks or something like that, 9 times out of 10, your Elegance jersey auto is probably going to be Oliver Skipp, Benteke, or James Ward-Prowse.
You are spot on. The only ones that have 99 of them in. Oh, and Hugo Lloris. So, yeah, you've got a goalkeeper in there. You've got a striker who can't score goals. You've got James Ward-Prowse, which isn't a terrible one. Southampton fans would love to own that. And Oliver Skipp. I don't know. I'd love to know Tottenham fans' opinions in the comments, whether or not they feel like Oliver Skipp is, someone that they'd be happy to hit and someone that they'd be chasing. So it will be interesting to find that out. We move on.
Oliver Skipp out of 99 goes for a tenner on eBay.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So
I love that. Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be much excitement there. Extravagance memorabilia. Anything popping out to me there? Benteke again. He's there with another 99 of them. Oliver Skipp's in there again with another 99. We do have...
They're not really ones that you want to see popping up all the time, really, are they?
Lloris again with 99. So, you're going to see him time and time again. And then you have Luka Modric to 75. That's an interesting one. A Rafael Varane to 51. Jurgen Klinsmann for Tottenham to 26. There's been a few Klinsmanns floating around in checklists.
Yeah, Spurs not looking too bad.
Spurs is looking all right.
Yeah.
Illustrious Ink. So we have a Heung-min Son, which we do see him in this product or this type of product quite a lot, but there's only 6 of them. Didier Drogba to 99. Guess who's back again? Mr. Christian Benteke with 99 of them again. So they must have an abundance of Christian Benteke stickers laying around and need to get rid of them. Gary Neville's back in this type of product. So he's got 99 of them. And here's where my frustration comes. You just said something there that Tottenham seems okay. Well, I'm pretty sure the person who puts this product together is a Tottenham fan because they do West Ham dirty every single year. The illustrious Ink set checklist is Grady Dian Garner. Now, I wouldn't mind so much if he played a game for West Ham in the 2021 to 2022 season. However, he didn't. He was sold in 2020. So that means you're kind of putting him in here because he never played for us in this season as a bit of an icon, as a bit of a legend for West Ham United. Well, I'm incredibly insulted about that as a West Ham United fan. And I just can't believe I can see him in here. I know you've probably got his stickers laying around. And when he was... West Ham have a real habit of overhyping our youngsters, and we were getting a little bit excited about him when he was playing a few games here and there. They've pulled him in, they've done a signing. They need to get rid of some of his stickers. They can't put it on West Brom anymore because they're no longer in the Premier League, and they've just shoved it in West Ham United. Mate, it pains me. Last year, we have Ravzan Rat, we've had Bernard Lamar, and now we get Grady and Diangana. Mate, just give us a Payet or give us something.
Poor. So poor.
Give us something, anything. But a player like that, a rookie who played a handful of games for the club and never even played in this season, then this is why give me an Ian Wright all day long. For that exact reason.
Yeah. No, I think that's very poor.
Not ideal, mate.
I say, Man U have done well in this section anyway, just before we quickly move on. Vidic, the flavour of this year's product, he's obviously sat down and done a signing. I've secured a Mosaic auto, so happy with that.
Nice.
Might even chase him in this one, but Man U will be premiumly priced out of my range anyway. Owen Hargreaves is a bit of a one I've not seen before, so that's interesting. Evra,
he's always around.
They could have stuck West Ham on that, to be fair.
and they have done in the past, and I'll take that. I would have that over Grady all day long. Although he really doesn't like West Ham and never says a good word about us. He really doesn't like us. So I don't know. But I did go to a hospitality game, and it was actually Patrice Evra's family's box that they didn't turn up for the game. So went in and went to buy our first drinks and said, "Oh, how much of that?" And they turned around and said, "Oh, it's all actually being paid for by Patrice Evra's account." So I immediately ordered a crate of beers, a crate of vodka, and we had a wonderful afternoon on Patrice Evra. So thank you for that, Mr. Patrice, and I'll never forget it, mate. So
if you're watching, mate.
So that's all good. Robert Pires in there for Arsenal. It's a nice enough one.
Token Rooney in Everton. They've snuck him in again. At
least Wayne Rooney has 99 of them for Everton this time, rather than the 5 that he had in Obsidian. So
it's feasible.
It is, it's more, you've got a chance. So if you're chasing Wayne Rooney's, and it makes it worthwhile buying Everton in this product.
Yeah.
Because you have got a fair chance at hitting a Wayne Rooney autograph. And, in Obsidian, it just was never worth buying because it was just never going to come out. So it's good to see that. I'm happy that there are more Wayne Rooney's in this product under Everton. And again, like I say, they could have easily put him under Man United. But, use your brain. Upweight one of the other teams that may not have a big checklist, and it makes it worthwhile for you to buy in and have a chance that with your product. So really, I think that's good to see. Then Immortal Inc. So some quite nice names in here. We do have the Alan Shearer for Newcastle this time. So there we go. That's good. Bergkamp, he's been around for Arsenal this year. Hit one very recently. So there he is. So nice to hit a nice Dennis Bergkamp 239. So very happy with that one. Frank Lampard's in there for Chelsea. Nice one for Chelsea. David Beckham, Man United. Robin Van Persie, Arsenal. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Man United. Edwin van der Sar, Man United. Dzeko for City. It's kind of the problem with City. They just never got the big, legends in there because, only in recent times have they really started kicking on and doing amazing things. So, you could have thrown an Aguero in there or something to make it more interesting. So, Dzeko, Shevchenko for Chelsea and Omri for Arsenal. So, not a bad little, they're the names you want to see.
8 out of 10 there. So
8 out of 10's fair, solid, and all to good numbers. 86 is the lowest number in there. Ruud van Nistelrooy, but most of them 99. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Impeccable club history autographs. So we've got another 78 David Beckham autographs in there, which is good to see. 82 Heung-min Son this time, so it means we've got a bit of Son in there. Pablo Zabaleta for Man City again, like we were saying, Man City just don't have those old icons in there. More Michael Owens for Newcastle. So that we're going to see a lot of Michael Owen Newcastle stuff in this product, I believe. Kyle Walker's around again. Kyle Walker didn't have a lot before this year, but he's popped up in most products now. So there's been more and more of his autos floating around. There's an Eden Hazard for Chelsea and a Zola for Chelsea, but both only 5 of each. So
tight choices there, as well as Lampard's at 5 and Pulisic's at 5. So it'll be difficult for Chelsea, and Courtois at 5.
Yeah, so
and
Chelsea.
Shevchenko's at 5.
He is.
The entire list is Chelsea to 5.
There's a pattern there. There's a pattern
Chelsea
there.
fans beware if you're chasing them.
West Ham's all right though, because we've got a Vladimir Soufal to 95, so we're all good now. Again, mate, just a right back. Just give us Antonio or something. Give us a striker. Give us, just give us something more than an average right back. It's just it is frustrating.
Nigel Rio-Coker.
Mate, I loved Nigel Rio-Coker. He was
what
the
a
man.
baller.
He was, mate. He was. Good times. I followed us everywhere through that period, through when we got relegated and got back to the Premier League. So it was good times. There we go. They have chucked on Mikel Antonio and Vladimir Soufal in the dual autograph set. There's only one of them, so your chances of hitting it is few and far between. But it is in there. And the main one out of there is your Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes to 99 for Manchester United. It's quite a nice card.
That's a pairing that we've seen before in Inception, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Ramsdale, Ben White for Arsenal. Again, a goal, goalkeeper and defender. Just a bit like meh on that one, really.
Not great jewels at all.
No, they are not great jewels for sure. Impeccable impressions checklist. I mean, there's not much to say in there, to be perfectly
Norwich
honest.
heavy. Says it all.
We'll skip across that quite quickly. Jersey number autographs. So obviously going to be quite low numbered, these ones. But there's an Edison for Man City. There's a Son, but there's only 7 of them. There's a Gianfranco Zola, 25. There's a Cristiano Ronaldo to 7. Nice if you get the 7 of 7 out of that one. Dennis Bergkamp, Mark Overmars. Again, Arsenal really heavily weighted in this product. Shevchenko and Pulisic for Chelsea. Cesc Fabregas for Arsenal again. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip over the Impeccable Stars checklist because it's not
a bit samey again.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Impeccable Stats autographs. So there's a Ruud van Nistelrooy in there again. There's a Jackie Grealish this time for Man City. There's a David Beckham to 80. So there's a few Beckhams floating around in this. It started off a little bit slow, but he's there. There's another 7 Vladimir Soufal. So West Ham's getting more exciting.
Same player again, though.
This is what I'm saying, mate.
Just give us coming out, I'm sure, in breaks.
Yeah, it is just
Cases
really
are just going to be Michael Owens and Vladimir Soufals.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's a nice one. You've got a triple autograph checklist there. I think this is probably one of the big hits from the product so far. You've got Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli. A 1 of 1 for Arsenal. I mean, that card's fantastic. They couldn't have picked.
There's only 9 in the entire set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says there's some numbered to 25, so riddle me that.
Or less, normally.
Right.
25
or 1 of 1.
Yeah, there you go.
It's that clever wording again, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is. Yeah. You have to read
People
through
it. Be chasing the base card, and then there's only a 1 of 1, right?
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. So, but I don't think they could have picked 3 better players to be on that. I think that's, Arsenal's 3 young superstars. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't have picked better than that. When you've got, for example, you've got Tottenham in there that's got Kane, Son, and Rodon. Why is Rodon?
They don't have 3 good players.
Yeah, it's very harsh.
They ran out of good players.
The Wolves one's all right. Neto, Jimenez, and Trincao.
Cool. Yeah.
If you're a Wolves fan, that's a really nice thing, that. And I suppose City's being Edison, if Jesus hadn't gone, Edison, Jesus, and KDB, you wouldn't have been disappointed by that. It's just a shame one of them is no longer there. So
so 1 of 1 again. So
yeah, so it's
you'd
not
be happy with it, wouldn't you? You
would. So we've got another just standard sort of to 99 list. So there's nothing really to shout about there. We've got
Serge Gnabry, Arsenal. Not one you see a lot.
No. Well, we've got another 99 Grady Diangana's in there, which is lovely.
Yeah, Layman's one I've not seen a lot of either. So
no, that's an interesting one. Matty Cash is in there in the Master Strokes. That's a nice one for an Aston Villa fan. So only 5 of them though. And again, this is what I'm trying to get at. You know, as an Aston Villa fan, you're reading this checklist, you come down, you say, oh, Matty Cash Master Strokes. I'd love to get that. I'm going to start buying into some Aston Villa breaks, but chances of hitting it is so
you'll be spending
slim.
thousands of pounds on breaks before you hit that.
Exactly.
Unless you're extremely lucky. So you're probably better off waiting for eBay.
Lee Dixon's back for Arsenal. Gianluca Vialli's back for Chelsea. So seeing those sort of typical icons reappearing, as you would. Rookie autograph set checklist. 2 of them at the moment. I'm hoping that is just they haven't released the rest.
Yeah, no, they surely not.
So I'm hoping for that. The rookie metal signatures. So these are the ones that I would be quite interested in myself. Martinelli, but apparently only a 1 of 1. Roden for Tottenham, 25. Anderson for Crystal Palace, 25. Hoover for Wolves, 25. And Guay for Crystal Palace, 24. So, I mean, not
Martinelli
very
1 of 1's a grail, but,
chances few and far between. Stainless Stars signatures. Now, that's a nice one. Would like to see a few of those pop up when I'm entering a few breaks. Dennis Bergkamp, but there's only 8 of them. He's in there, though. Fabregas and Lee Dixon. So, again, Arsenal looking strong. Saka's in there as well for Arsenal. So, again, looking strong. Rooney's under Everton this time, 25 of them. So Rooney's looking better for Everton in this product. So that's quite good to see that, mate. Quite good to see. What we got down here?
Illustrious memorabilia. Back to the patches.
Yeah, we got a few patches in there again. Nothing particularly exciting there. Impeccable dual material. So again, we're patches here again. So, patches they are what they are.
Yeah.
Let's get down to some of the metal inserts. So we get on to the gold and silvers. So Premier League logo gold set checklist. Yeah, all out of 3. Saka's in there. Tony. Yeah. Declan Rice is in there. That would be a nice one for me. That is a nice hit. That is something that I'd be looking for. Cristiano Ronaldo, KDB, Mohamed Salah, picks of the bunch in there in terms of the big players. Harry Kane's in there as usual. But Declan Rice does add maybe a little bit more interest to West Ham. But like we said before, with only 3 of them, out there, your chances are very slim. Let's hope he's also in the silvers. So here's the silvers. West Ham, see, now he's gone. See, that's frustrating. Now we've got Antonio, Benrahma, and Souček. Why can't you have Declan Rice in there as well? It's just, that all of a sudden then would make it a little bit interesting. So,
yeah, it makes it viable and
it does
possible. But, yeah, just having a look.
Doesn't look like, though, any of the golds are in the silvers.
No. So, Phil as a metal card.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't chase that, given that not overly infused by the metal cards.
It's not just that, is it? If you buy it as Man City rather than the player, Man City's checklist just isn't strong enough to justify probably what they're going to want to charge for them, and that's the point. So
you'd like to see it priced not purely on the fact that it's got Foden in it. Look at the rest of the checklist and be realistic.
Yeah.
Man U have only got 3 of these. So
yeah. Well, there we go, actually. Next one is the rookie metal checklist. So there are more rookie metals in there, which is good to see. So, yeah, Harvey Elliott, that's a nice one to see. Martinelli's still in there as usual. Lokonga's back for Arsenal. Who else have we got in here? No West Ham, surprisingly.
Norwich, I think he's just got a move. Potentially.
Yeah. Elise's in there. So again, that adds to that Elise chase if you're buying Crystal Palace. Hudson Edouard is in there for Crystal Palace as well. Mate, for me, the interesting one, if priced correctly and not overly priced, Crystal Palace could be one that I, just nibble at every now and then.
This is your dark horse.
Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be. It really could be. I'm liking what you can hit for Crystal Palace, likely for what's going to be maybe 30 or 40 pound in terms of, a full case break, something like that. I think that's good value,
yeah,
personally. So that's going to be interesting to see. And then the stainless stars checklist. So these are the non-rookies of the stainless cards. You've got Kieran Tierney in there. Cristiano Ronaldo still in there, so that's going to be the big chase there. Pablo Fornals for West Ham. Who else have we got in here? Kai Havertz for Chelsea, Saka for Arsenal, Jared Bowen's in there for West Ham. I'd love his metal rookie. That's something that I'm, really going after. You don't see many of them.
yeah. That's pretty cool.
There's one abroad, but there's not one in the UK at the moment, and I just can't be bothered with shipping in from abroad. So, yeah, but that is impeccable. So, we've given a little run through there. Looks like Arsenal and Man United are very heavily weighted. It brings us back on to that old conversation that we had last week of, is it right for breakers to be separating players from teams? And when they're that heavy, separating Ronaldo from the rest of that Man United chase, in this instance, while I disagreed with it last week, I may not be totally against it in this case. I don't like it in other cases, but in this case, I may tolerate it. What do you think?
I think, regardless of whether we agree with it or not, this is a checklist that is aligned to PYP anyway.
Yeah.
You could so easily split out CR7, David Beckham. I'm just pulling players out on the top of my head after just reading this. Foden, I'll probably ask breakers to pull him out because he's the only one I'm interested in Man City, which then makes the spot cheaper for me because I'm only going to resell anything else that I pick up out there. I quite liked it anyway, as I said on the podcast last week. Like, I don't have too much of an issue with it because I am someone who PCs a player and not a team. And I think that's where the main differentiation lies. If you're someone who PCs an entire team and you want breaks to sell out and, you want it to sort of just run how it used to run, then you probably say just stick PYT on it. But someone who chases individual cards, PYP is grand, as long as they're not overpriced for that fact. So some people see the chase card and then exploit based on that fact. It's like, I want my Fodens, but I also don't want my pants pulled down to get them. So you do have to draw a line somewhere. Even if you are like overly enthusiastic about chasing players like I am.
Yeah, no, I get that. How much would it be for Grady Diangana? That's my big question.
Oh,
if I wanted to chase
life,
him,
it should be no more than £5, but it'll be a West Ham spot, won't it? And then you'll probably be looking at, I don't know, you'll know more than me. It'll be 50 quid, won't it? Or maybe
normally it sits, but it sells. West Ham's one of them teams. We always sell in any product, and it's never one that sits. It always sells, and sometimes I try and nip in and grab West Ham in, a release day of a break, and I'll try and grab a few early West Ham's in Obsidian or in Impeccable or in Immaculate or whatever, and I try and go and grab them, and they're always gone. Like, we do sell really quickly in product, but because of that, they strong it a little bit and they make it 60, 70 quid. But West Ham just never seemed to appear, mate. I started, because I wanted to PC West Ham a little bit more, and it's got a bit more exciting last year. And, I've warmed up to a few of the players. I'd like to get more Jared Bowen in my collection now. I started to buy into West Ham, and, mate, they just don't hit. They just don't appear in product. It gets really frustrating because even if we are in the checklist, we just, you just never see a West Ham card. So it does get very, very frustrating. Right. Well, we'll move on to a couple of questions that we had come through in the Discord, because it's only right that when we ask for questions from the Discord that we answer them. So Murray has asked about the World Cup stuff coming out purely for his benefit. He is a Wales fan, so it gives him an opportunity in the World Cup product to chase a few of the Wales boys. They haven't been there for 50 years. What a nice thing to collect for a Wales fan. Your first World Cup in 50 years. Try and complete maybe all the base, then add in a few parallels into the mix. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, if I was a Wales fan, I'd be feeling exactly the same. And I got into a conversation with someone on Instagram the other day because I was discussing the Foden one-of-ones from Obsidian. Should the England kit be more, or should the Man City kit be more? And historically, I've always seen the club kits going more. Like when I've been dealing with Rooney's, you cannot get anywhere near as much for an England kit than a Man U kit. But I think it's because the pure amount of Man U hobbyists. Anyway, back to my point. We both agreed in the end that at this point in time, the international kit should be worth more for a couple of reasons. In that players are not seen in their international kit in product in general as much. So there's less supply and less product. So therefore, lower supply, higher price,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
interesting.
And with the World Cup round the corner, your investment strategy or whatever you want to call it probably should be around international kits, because if you bought James Rodriguez in a Colombia kit before the 2014 World Cup, after the World Cup, you would have then been sat on a gold mine. And, that's a very extreme example of someone who's gone from nowhere to like burst onto the scenes. But, if I won't be complaining if Foden decides he wants to be the player of the tournament and he wants to score a couple of bicycle kicks in the final. So I think it's great when the international kit product comes out, just because it is more scarce, and all the club politics go out the window. As an English person, you'll always be collecting England players, and as a Welsh person, you'll always be collecting Welsh players, and they're not always in product. And it could be 20 years before you see the next Welsh kit. So I'm all for it, and I think it makes the chase more exciting and the satisfaction of hitting a big card, even sweeter.
I think there's a massive thing that you touched upon there, that I think there will at some point be a shift in sports cards and how sports cards are put together, because the UK has more influence, because we're more involved in the hobby. I think up until this point, it's not been massive. It's growing quickly, and I think that's a really good thing. But I think we will see product and the current format of product change because of that reason. And what you've just said there, the lack of politics. In America, it doesn't matter. When they was collecting cards, it's almost like what we call now over here a player FC kind of approach, that even with the teams that they follow out there, whether it be basketball or whether it be NFL, they follow a player. So they love a player. And it's like if they go to Green Bay, they support Green Bay. If they go over to another team, they support another team, the Patriots. They follow the player. And we've seen a little bit of that in the UK, but not as much. And I don't think we will see that grow over here. We've had it with like Martial FC and fans just following him around, and Rashford FC, and they're just Rashford fans. They're not exactly the football team's fan. They are a fan of the player. We're not going to see that as much over here. So, for example, Declan Rice, his rookies are West Ham. Now, if he signs for Chelsea, which we all believe that he will at some point, it's very difficult for a Chelsea fan to stick Declan Rice in a West Ham kit on your wall to display that, because you don't want to see that West Ham kit. Whereas his England rookie, you are happy to display because it's neutral, so you're okay. So I think we are going to see a shift. We are going to see people want the international kits more because of that reason. If a player moves to a different club, it doesn't matter. It's all good. And actually, I will be happy to display Declan Rice in an England kit on my wall, even if he is a Chelsea player. But I certainly won't be put in a Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? So that's a slight issue. But also, rookies don't make sense really to people in the UK, because it's just not something that we're familiar with. A rookie is,
you don't have a rookie year, do you?
We don't. It's not the same sort of thing. We don't have it. It's not. It doesn't fit into how sport is done with us and how players are developed and brought through. It's not like we have a draft and then we pick that player from the draft and then all of a sudden that's their rookie year. It doesn't work like that. I think we'll start to see a first year approach, and it will be the first of that player in a Chelsea kit, because Declan Rice moved from West Ham. He went to Chelsea.
Yeah.
We will now see that first logo on there. And as a Chelsea fan, as a Chelsea collector, all of a sudden, his first Chelsea year will sell for more than anything else, because that's
Yeah,
the one that you want. You want the first year that he signed for your club, and that's, that is your club's rookie, if you like. And I think that fits in with the mentality of how we support teams in the UK much more than it does how rookies are in the United States.
Yeah, I think I'd like to probably speak to more American people as well, because it's a very different hobby out there. Their sports don't have international kits. Like you don't play international basketball and you don't play international American football. And it's great when you got like Obsidian, you have the high amount of American kit players in there. We had the US women's national team and the US men's national team. And you can see by the amount of Americans that like flood into like UK breaks and stuff, because people in England don't want those cards. Like, the only reason I think people pick up those spots is because they know they can sell them at a pretty decent price to Americans. And I think it's cool that, soccer could be that thing that brings the hobby kind of across the Atlantic. And it is really, because you still don't see, like, 90% of what people are doing over here is soccer. Like, I was speaking to the guy who owns Gorilla Ship, and he was saying like 95% or whatever of his, I think he said, like, I can't even remember what it was, but it was way over like 70% of his customers were soccer customers. And obviously he's in the US. So I think that's what could like bring us together. And if the US, God forbid, have a great World Cup, I think that will have an interesting effect on the hobby, because more of the US, where the hobby is huge, may start, loving soccer a bit more, which will have a knock-on effect into UK and Europe.
Yeah, no, really valid points, mate, and very well made. I think there will be a shift, and it's really interesting, and it'll be nice to see as well, mate. It will be nice to see. So, final question for this evening. We've been longer than we expected to be already, so we've got one last one we've got to touch upon. It is a quick one. We've had a question with: do you feel that renowned breakers or so-called receive loaded boxes ahead of release, more boxes than the public? So, i.e., bigger hits, weighted more to make the product look better than what it is in general. Does that go to breakers? So breakers open that and it draws people into the product. It's a theory that I do see bounded around at times. It is something that you see people have an opinion on. But I've never ever seen any evidence of that. You've got to take into consideration that, mate, it's hard. When I started getting first into the hobby and you're opening one hobby box of something, because it's really expensive to open a hobby box, and it's not a cheap hobby for to buy a lot of the products that are out there now. It's really hard to hit a big hit out of buying a single box. Really hard. You've got to appreciate that these breakers are opening. Sometimes CY at Soccer Breakers FC, he will open cases upon case upon cases for 15 hours on release day. 15 hours, opening case after case after case. Every single one of those cases has a case hit. It's only, like as you said before, the law of averages, that he is going to hit a massive hit somewhere on that day. And the thing is, people don't sit there watching it for 15 hours. All they see is the Instagram post of the massive hit that he's hit. And everyone goes, there we go again. Breakers getting favoritism. Breakers getting weighted boxes. It's not that. It's just he opened so many. He was bound to hit something massive along the way. And I've actually seen him open some product like Chrome this year, like Mosaic Premier League this year, and open case after case after case, and it actually damage the situation. Everyone stops buying into breaks.
Mm-hmm.
He can't fill them because everyone's sort of leaving him alone because the product just isn't that great, and he gets stuck with it. He's been stuck with Euro Mosaic for ages. He couldn't put a Euro Mosaic break together and sell it out because nobody wants it because it's such a poor product. So it happens, and there are poor product. It does suggest that there's a reason to give them weighted product to pique that interest, and then everyone goes and buys it. But mate, the hobby's in a place where everything sells out anyway. I don't think it's necessary.
It's a good product,
It isn't necessary. Museum wasn't a great product this year. It still sold out instantly. There's a few products that have been a bit like that, and it just sells out so quickly. So I don't know. I've never seen any evidence. What's your thoughts on that? Have you seen anything that could suggest that might be a case somewhere?
I think you pretty much said exactly what I was going to say. There's hundreds of people watching Soccer Breakers. There's hundreds of people watching Castro just sit there and rip through personals. And then it's a hype game. So they see that one massive one of one. That's the one that gets screenshotted and put into all the group chats. And then it goes into all the Discords. It goes onto Instagram. People are posting it, talking about it. And that, I suppose, just then creates this feeling that they're getting sent weighted boxes because they're picking up. But if you and I sat here and opened 20 cases, then we'll find a good one of one, and then we can put it all over our Instagram, and then we'll go viral. Like, as simple as that. And
you'd have done your brains in value, and you'd have lost a load of money, but you will have one nice hit.
It's influencer marketing. Like, they're not. I'm sure Topps and Panini don't have Castro and Sai on their payroll, like getting them to rip open all the great products. So you could look at it in another way as well, because if you see all of the great hits out on the first day, then you go, well, why am I going to buy into breaks, right? Look at it how you want. And I think, again, the UK loves to gossip and have a contention point to talk about, but I think it's a nothing discussion. I've not seen any real evidence of foul play or whatever. It's just, if you buy 1 million lottery tickets, you're more likely to win the lottery. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right, mate. But again, a perfect analogy is, like gambling and horse racing. If you back enough horses, you're going to get a winner. But again, one thing that you have to absolutely be positive on is it don't mean that you're going to come out up, mate. So anyone who's sort of thinking, and you see it all the time, if there's a case hit, rather than just buying boxes, get a case because that makes sense. Well, very, very risky game to play if you think you're going to get the value back on a case. Really, really risky. But some people do that because they'd rather have a chance at the case hit than not. For me, that's why I enter breaks, because I like having a chance at that case hit. And the teams that I normally pick will be one that the case hit should be in and around them.
Yeah.
So, I do like to do that. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that. So, I know everyone can't do that, and that's fair enough. But, that's the way I like to approach it. I've been there before, mate. You buy single boxes. Single boxes are tough ass to get a big hit from. So tough. Especially when you're buying a box here, a box there. Your chances of hitting something, it isn't great. But then you can get lucky. Look at downtown cards in our group. Sam, he opened that, it was a mosaic box and had a Beckham auto and a Fatty auto in the same pack, not the same box, the same pack. Like, you can get lucky, and that, at the end of the day, that's what opening product is all about, really, is we're all hoping that we get lucky, and that's all part of it. It's part of the fun. It's part of the hobby. And if it's not for you, then just go and buy your card on eBay or one of the groups, and that's absolutely fine. So, but for me, no evidence that I've seen of upweighting towards anyone. I haven't seen favouritism. I think the only place favouritism exists, and it does exist, and I will put it out there, is I think some people get priority to some of the product. They get more of the product. And that seems to change quite often as well. Whoever they feel has the most influence at a particular time, they're going to get a lot more of the product. And that's the case. So I can take that.
I think that's at manufacturer retail level, and it's at distributor level. Like
Yeah.
distributors have their favored breakers because they know they're going to buy 50 cases of each one, so they probably give it to them before, they look at the smaller breakers and things. And I think that's just, they know they're going to sell it, so they probably want to shift it fast, and is what it is. But it is all law of averages. If you buy the Ronaldo spot in every single break in the world of every breaker's case, you're going to hit all of the Ronaldo hits that you see on Instagram. It's like, they're all going to go to you, but you just have to get lucky if you're not in a position to do that. And
I got lucky the other day. You can go and watch it on Soccer Breakers. I bought 2 mosaic boxes, didn't hit. The second one didn't have an auto, so CY gave me a third box for free. Thank you, CY. I really appreciate just giving me a free box. Not many people would do that. So that was 3 boxes in. I then had another 2. The fourth one was terrible, so I'm 4 boxes in, which is probably, I don't know, maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe £700. So I'm £700 in, and then 5th box, very last pack, very last card, David Beckham auto, just about broke even. So, but like see what I said, it was being consistent. I kept on until I hit the case hit. I got, I could have just stopped after those 2 boxes, and then somebody else would have had the Beckham. So, like you said, it is a little bit of consistency sometimes, and I think that flicking isn't great because it always seems to be the time where you change your mind. I've experienced it recently when that one you was chasing then suddenly pops up and you're gutted. So if you pick your chase out, stick with it, try and stick with it as much as you can. I know we haven't got unlimited resources. We haven't got unlimited funds. None of us have. And you can't keep it up. But, I think that's what you just said there is the right way to approach it. When you sort of went into Obsidian, you knew the teams you wanted to buy. You'd not bought anything for a few months. You'd put all that money aside for Obsidian. It gives you the best chance of buying into enough so you can be consistent and hit that hit that you was looking for. I think that is really sound advice. I think it makes sense. Set your money aside, and rather than buying the team 1, 2, or 3 times, try and buy it, a few more times than that, and have the resources to do that. So you have the best chance of getting the man you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, just on a basic level, don't pay £5 for a single box when you're a premium product. Just, if you can, pay the 60 quid to get the 12 box case, because you're spreading your risk over 12 boxes. And these boxes are so small, like they are literally a rip-off. like I don't even know how much they will be. There will be $1,500 for 7 cards or whatever it is. Like it's actually mad when you think about it. But will I still buy to go and get Foden? Yes, I will.
Of course he will. Of course he will. So it kind of wraps us up now, mate. It's been a little bit different this evening. We haven't really touched upon grading, but that's not really what this podcast is about. We will have grading discussions. It will become a bit of a feature. We will sort of bring up little elements of grading as we go. So maybe every other week we'll put grading in here. But what we don't want to do is bore everyone with self-promotion, with us broadcasting grading all the time. And so, this is really about the general hobby, all of our experiences in the hobby, and just sharing that with everybody, and just sort of getting a bit of feedback from everyone, and hopefully really turning it into a conversation in Discord as well. It would be great if everyone who listens to this can comment below their opinions, and then also go over to Discord and we can all talk about it over there as well, which would be great. So I've really enjoyed it again. We've run well over time than what we expected, as usual, but that's great. I will start breaking these down into smaller snippets as well. We haven't had any disconnects tonight, so it's going to be really quick to edit this and throw it out there, which would be great. We'll break it into smaller chunks. If people haven't got as much time, they can just watch each sort of topic when they feel they've got the time to do so, sort of 15, 20-minute snippets. And we'll be back again soon, mate. Thank you for your time. And any last words from yourself?
No, I would urge anyone to join the Discord, though. Like, the community is building. You can obviously find the link on our Instagram, or Frankie, I'm sure you can post it below the video.
Yeah, do that.
We are having regular discussion on a daily basis, and we've got a slab breakout right now, which you'll see advertised in there, which is only value. And just keep up to news basically with what we're doing and where we're going with the business. So No, all exciting times. I think with the new season around the corner, a lot of people have been in a bit of a slump with the hobby and, with footy,
Yeah.
but, it'll be another great season. Man U getting my hopes up once again in pre-season
Looking
against
good.
teams like Melbourne City. Yeah.
You're looking good, mate. Ten
um,
Hag seems to be cracking the whip.
yeah,
I've
Anthony
not seen a
Martial,
boss like
mate.
that for a
Thierry
while,
Henry in
mate.
disguise.
Yeah, mate. I was that Ten Hag when he was shouting and screaming, and mate, he's
Oh, I rate that.
demanding.
It's
He's
what you need. It's
demanding.
what we need. It's what we need. Probably a
Yeah.
couple more seasons to flush out the deadwood, and we're not going to be challenging for titles, but we'll look like a proper team, which is nice. So, no, all good, mate. And obviously, best wishes to West Ham, where it looks like they're going to have a starting 11 and nothing more again. So
Absolutely,
we'll
mate. It's going
see
that
what
way. We
happens.
all got excited 24 hours ago, and there was talks of Broha and bringing in
Mm,
Skamaka and bringing in Lingard and bringing in all these players, and now all of them are going elsewhere. So that's life in the world of West Ham, mate. We're very used to it.
yeah,
It's the way it goes for us. But just to echo what you said there in Discord, it's a very different place to most Discords, and the kind of the reasons why you can ask us anything. You can ask us about grading. So if anyone hasn't graded cards before, we'll give you genuine, honest advice. We had somebody in there recently who was asking some questions around what cards he should grade. He sort of sent me the pictures and so on, and I sort of gave him a real genuine sort of honest overview of actually your card that you're looking at getting graded there. It really isn't going to add much value. It will be nice to encase it, and it will be nice to make it look nice and display it and protect it and keep it nice for you. But just want to be honest, it isn't really going to add any value to that particular card. So we're always honest about that. But one of the lovely things and what shows just what a community it is, in there we've got a members PC. So I have been, as many people will know, chasing the Ray Waves from Chrome this year. Mate, every day I have Ray Waves turning up through the door. I had 2 packages of Ray Waves
lads
today.
in there are
And
top
that's
lads. They'll
just
sort you
from the
out.
community. I've put it in there that I'm collecting Ray Waves, and people are sending them to me on a daily basis so I can complete the full set. It's such a nice thing, mate, and that's what community is all about. And other people have their posts in there of what they collect, and we all help each other. And we
What
always
you want to
try
be
and
more worried about is how they've got your address, mate.
very, very good point, mate. Very, very good point. That isn't hidden, that one. It's so many people have that. It's about time I got a PO box or something, I think. But no, it's really nice, mate. Just every day is just a surprise where something's turning up. And mate, I'm 100% returning the favour where I can. So,
Yeah,
wherever
what it's all about.
yeah, and that's it. I've got a big package arriving from Soccer Breakers FC tomorrow, from thousands of pounds worth of breaks over the last few weeks. I'm going to go through that, and some of the stuff that I don't want, I'll then scroll through Member PC, and if I find stuff that isn't of value to me, I can send it across to somebody who would appreciate more than I will. So lovely place. Get in there if you can. Be really good. And myself and Dan will be back with hopefully more of a stringent time frame next time, where we really do stick to
We're
20
too excited.
minutes. Where we stick to 20 minutes, because
We'll get some timestamps and
that's what
things
we
on the
need.
different topics. If you're not interested in Sapphire, but you're interested in Impeccable, then you can navigate your way around it.
Definitely. That's a great idea, mate. So we'll do that. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining in again. And we will see you all soon.